Welcome back, guys, and welcome to the Moderately Interesting Podcast, episode number 3. My name is Geoffrey, and
I'm Angelea.
And this episode, we're going to be doing a topic that I think is going to be kind of cool. And also, we're doing a different camera setup. If you can obviously tell, we're doing something a little bit different. Just experimenting. Let me know, guys, what do you guys think about this camera angle? If you guys like this, if it's cool, if it's not.
If it's way too close, because yikes.
We never know. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So this episode, we're going to be talking about nursing. And there's just so many different areas we can go into that. So.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot.
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to jump in this?
I don't know.
Should we take things back to the nursing school?
Yeah, why not?
Before that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, then how about this? Well, then tell me, why nursing? Why did you get into nursing? Well, actually, before we even jump into that,
yes,
maybe we should explain for the new audience and stuff like that, like your background just in nursing, the fact that you are a nurse.
That's it. That's the whole background.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's it.
I'm a nurse.
Well, you're an RN.
I am a registered nurse.
Yeah. Well, so then with that, then, so tell me then why then, like, so what made you go into nursing out of all things?
Well, I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Okay. But then I effed around and didn't go to college, like, straight out of high school. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to... Yeah, I'm not trying to be in school until I'm, like, 40.
Yeah.
So...
Which...
Gave up on that.
Understandable.
And I figured I wanted to be a nurse after, obviously, deciding not to go to, like, med school. Mm-hmm. But for, like, a couple years, I didn't do anything about it because I was like, oh, everyone just tells you, like, how hard nursing school is, and then, like, you can't get through it. And it ruins your life, and you gain 1,000 pounds and all this stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm not smart enough for that. Right. Plus, it's, like, a really long process. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize it takes a lot to get into a nursing program, especially in Western New York. Like, everyone and their mother wants to be a nurse. Mm-hmm. For sure. So I had some, like, okay, not terrible, not great grades. And I ended up, like, applying to every nursing school around here. Mm. And the school I ended up going to had, like, a policy where you could reset your GPA if you took, like, 12 credits at a brand new school. And then that would be your transfer GPA for the nursing program. So I did that, and I got in. And, I mean, I guess that's the beginning of all of it. I had gone to school for a couple years, just, like, on and off for, like, random stuff. I knew I wanted to be in the sciences. I knew, like, at first I went for medical assisting, and then I, like, wanted to go for nursing, and then rad tech, and... Yeah, I remember that briefly. Yeah. We talked about that. But that's kind of just as hard to get into, honestly. Wait, so I never actually knew that. So I didn't know that. So you could reset your GPA by going through. So I literally never knew that. That's the reason why you had. And that's just specific to the school I went to. Yeah. A lot of schools aren't like that because I know, like, the school that's closest and cheapest to us is they start at a 4.0. They accept you, and then they get down to maybe like a 3.8. Mm-hmm. And, like, my GPA was probably like a 3.0 at the time. There were some, like, transcript errors and stuff. Like, I had a couple Fs on my transcript that I thought I withdrew from, and that happened when I was younger, so I couldn't get those off my record. Which I've done that too. So, like, I was kind of limited to where I could go because of my GPA and the fact that I couldn't get those Fs off my transcript. So, okay, quick question. So, because I don't even know this. So then, to get into nursing school, generally speaking, you have to first have some college to even get into the actual nursing program. I think it kind of depends. Like, it depends on every program. The program I went to, it seemed like it almost catered more to people out of high school because they take your GPA from college as your competitive GPA to get in the program. So, like, if you don't have a GPA, you just take the entrance exam. And I think for the nursing program, you had to take anatomy and physiology 1, but that's the only class you needed before you got in.
Where would you even take that? So you would have to do at least one semester at another college.
Yeah.
Before you can even get in.
Yeah. Or there with, like, as a nursing intent student.
Oh, okay. That's still like a lot. So it's like, it is much more, cause that's the one, I know even, I didn't fully know this until like.
It's a lot. It's really hard to get into nursing school. Yeah, it's a lot to
get into nursing school. It's just like any of the other like type of higher professions. It's like you have to actually get into it.
Right. You can't just be like, oh, I want to be a nurse. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of those other schools are very competitive. Just even getting into it. Yeah. And then you also, so while you're in the program, I remember you were saying that too, you have to keep your GPA a certain level, otherwise you'll be kicked out, or like, so how does that work exactly?
So like the whole saying like D's get degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like that in nursing school. You have to have
my life kind of like that for a little bit.
You have to get a C or better in all your science. Well, everything, but also like all your sciences. Yeah. Is the big one. I think it's like that for most like science-based degrees though. Mm-hmm. I know like grad school and stuff is different. Like you have to have like an 88 and higher. Like it just gets harder. But yeah. So for that, when I went to nursing school, they've since changed this policy. It's a 73 is passing now, but a 75 was passing. So that skews the whole grading scale up like pretty far. So like if a 75 is the bottom of a C, so like an A minus or like an A was like a 95 to 100 or 96 to 100, and then like an A minus was like a 92 to a 95. Okay, so it's like you could, because I think one class I got like an 80% in. That was my worst class in nursing school. Yeah, it was third semester, which is like
the hard one.
Yeah, the hard one, like all around, like
I remember you
at any school. And that was a C. Like an 80 was a C. Yeah. Where like a C other places
would be like
is lower. I don't know. I'm probably wrong with the numbers, but it's, we get the gist. The grading scale is harder.
Yeah. And then like what you were saying with third semester, because I remember you were saying something like third semester is like essentially is like the really hard one. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Well, honestly, they're all so freaking hard. Third semester is the one people fail out in usually. Well, not fail out of, but at least fail once. Because that's the other thing about nursing school. You only get one fail. So you can fail a class once, and then you have a second attempt. But if you fail it the second time, you're out. For 5 years, that's a New York state law. I think they're looking into changing it into 3 years. So it's not even like, oh, it's fine. It's hard, but I can retake it a million times. You really can't.
So you have to, like, if you're not going to pass, you have to withdraw.
Yeah.
And with withdrawal, I forgot. It's been a minute.
It's so early. I think in the spring it's super early, and in the fall it's super late, which makes no sense. But
yeah, I do remember that. I know. I mean, granted, I didn't go to nursing school, but like, I know what you mean. Like,
but you went to college.
Yeah, but
withdrawal date's the same.
No, I know what you mean, but it's like like the withdrawal date. But I don't know exactly how like for like a normal class or like whatever, you don't fully know if you're gonna pass or fail, like how hard things are yet. I don't know if is that for nursing. Like, do you have a good gauge?
No.
Do you take your first test before that? Like, I'm assuming, right?
So I think depending on what semester you're in when you take third, because the school I went to starts every semester. A lot of schools around here only start once a year, which is another way you get weeded out, because if it only starts once a year, you're up against way more people. Mm-hmm. But I ended up in like the regular rotation anyways. I started in the fall and ended in the summer. Mm-hmm. But what was I saying? I forgot where I was going with that.
The withdrawal date? Like, is it... take a test?
So my nursing program that I went to, our only grades were tests. And we had four tests and a final. Yeah. So, like, you really have no idea.
No, so...
Unless you're, like, doing really well, you know that your grade is padded because it's weighted so heavily, but you could bomb one test and that changes everything.
And then you're just like, well, I'm on the border of passing or failing. Or you could be just, I'm just below the level.
Yeah, and that's high stakes when you either have to withdraw by a date or say, like, no matter what this takes, I'm going to get at least a C in this class.
Yeah. So then, okay. Well, then, generally speaking, so what do you think was the hardest part of nursing school? Because this is for the 2-year degree.
Yeah,
first.
I got my associates.
And you're still doing the 4-year.
And I'm in a bachelor's program in a different school now. I didn't take like a 4-year program. Like the program I'm in now is specifically for working nurses who have passed their boards, just to get their bachelor's. But yeah, so even that I did a little differently. But I think the hardest part about it is you have to have like this whole, I don't even know how to explain it. You have to like critically think. Like you have to think like there's a patient in front of you and you have to keep them like alive or stable or safe. And it's like a really, if you haven't had that kind of background where you critically think. Yeah. Like I know somebody I went to school with who I actually work with now, not directly, but we work at the same place. She had a bachelor's degree in public health and she from like day one was getting like really high grades. And she's like, this is exactly what my public health degree was like. Well, probably not exactly. And she said that in first semester. So I'm sure it's not exactly the same, but she had that like school of thought, like that thinking pattern down. Yeah. But yeah, it is completely like analyzing something and thinking critically and like prioritizing. And there are all those jokes about how, like in nursing school, like the questions like which orange is the orangest, and it's like a picture of 4 oranges. It's like every question, every answer is right, but one is the most correct, which is hard because it's like on normal tests you're like, okay, these 2 are stupid answers, like, and then like this one's right and this one's like the opposite, like a word is changed, right? And it's not like that in nursing school.
It could be, they could literally all be right, but you're like, but this one.
Like, which one do you do first?
Yeah, it's or the like, most priority or something like that, right?
Or which one's, like, the safest?
Yeah.
So, it's, like, it's really rough. Like, the tests are rough. Well, everything is so hard.
Yeah, now, okay, but okay, now, talk to me about the clinicals. Because I remember, like, when you first were doing, like, your first ones, you were nervous a little bit.
Oh, my God, so nervous. I'm going to be honest with you guys, like, my first clinical day... Well, no, my whole first semester of nursing school, I woke up, we did, I think it was 8 hours. I don't even remember. I think it was, it's like being in the war. Like, you kind of have PTSD and you don't remember afterwards. Yeah. But I think it was 8-hour clinicals, and I'd have to be there like 7 to 3 or whatever. And I would wake up and cry every single day. It was so hard.
Quite literally. I remember I used to wake up and like and your school they didn't want you to have like different colored hair.
And my hair was red, like redder than this is, because this is really faded right now because I've been taking bad care of it. But
it was
like bright red, and I was like, cool. I have to like change my hair color. Yeah. Like not only have I given up all my free time to this for the next 2 years, like I have to change my hair color. I have to take out all my piercings, which is like a big thing for me because I used to have a lot of piercings and now I have none because I just haven't.
I know, that on a quick side note, that is totally crazy to like think about. Yeah, I remember you had a whole bunch of like other piercings.
Yeah. I mean, I still have my septum pierced and I have like my nostril pierced. But everything else I haven't put back in. I have some other piercings, but we're not going to talk about those. But, like everything like that would be in my ears or anything I couldn't have. So it was like cool, like, hello?
Don't mind that. Wait, can I say on a quick side note? Because like when we first started dating, you had the bar in your ear. I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And now my ear's like deformed. I thought that was the coolest thing I've
ever seen in my
entire life. It's like deformed. It doesn't look like the other one.
I literally only
I don't have it in.
I've only seen a bar in like one other person's ear.
I missed that a lot. Life. And it was such. Yeah, I do. And it's still open, like the
But you can't put it in.
The skin is closed, but the cartilage is still open. So it would just hopefully heal like a regular piercing, because it was like for like a year and a half it had keloids and it was so sore and I like wanted to cry and take it out, but I stuck it out and like it looked great, and then I went to nursing school.
Not gonna lie, that was the coolest thing. But go ahead about the clinicals.
Yeah, so it was like really rough because every day you're like, let me do all these things I've literally never done. Yeah. With people I don't know. A clinical instructor who's been a nurse probably longer than I've been alive and doesn't remember what it's like to not be a nurse. Yeah. Which is, I'll get to this later, but like it is weird because like I've been a nurse. I passed my boards in June 2019, so not even a year yet, and I already don't remember how to not think like a nurse. Because they pound it into you, like, they beat it into your head in nursing school. And so, like, it's for the last almost 3 years I've been thinking like a nurse, and I can't turn it off. So I don't blame my clinical instructors for being like that. But
part of the whole ordeal.
Yeah. So, like, my very first clinical rotation in first semester, my first day, we were at a nursing home, and my clinical instructor goes, "Okay, go give this patient a bed bath." And I was like, what?
Just like,
I figured out by the context clues of the word, like, obviously I'm supposed to give this person a bath in their bed, but, like, I don't have kids. I've never bathed someone other than myself. Like, I don't have younger siblings, nieces and nephews. Yeah. I don't have any of that. So,
that
like,
is kind of...
I was like, what? Like, I didn't work in healthcare before, so I didn't know the supplies or what they were called or what they were used for.
So, okay. Pause.
Yeah. So, I'm getting really anxious thinking about it.
when you first do the first initial, like, round of clinicals, you work more as like a CNA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Just,
I mean,
because you don't...
it kind of all depends on your clinical instructor, because they can either be really helpful or just be like, go do the bitch work, and, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But sometimes, yeah. Because you're usually most nursing schools do start you out in a nursing home just because it's, like, slower paced. You have less patients. And you get to learn all this stuff to get it out of the way. So
what do the CNAs do when they're there? When you're there?
Nothing. Or, like...
Are they just like, oh, cool?
Yeah.
Do they help you?
Sometimes. It depends on where you are and, like, who's working.
Yeah.
But, so many of them were so helpful.
Yeah.
And also in nursing homes, like, LPNs, at least in New York, LPNs are... they kind of run the show, and then there's, like, one RN for each, like, wing.
Yeah.
So, like, I learned so much from the LPNs and the CNAs there. So, like, I hate that whole thing where people are like, LPNs aren't real nurses. Like, no, they are. I've learned so much in my career from LPNs. Even at work now, the LPNs teach me tons of stuff.
Right. But then, okay, so then before people... Or, how do I ask the question? Okay. While you're in schooling, like, before you go to your first clinical, in the booklet, like, do they tell you, like, is there some type of instructions before you get to the clinic? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not just, like,
so
there you go.
The school I went to has actually changed this because, like, the bed bath situation, they actually have, like, a whole lab now to learn how to do a bed bath.
Okay.
They taught us other stuff, like how to
be somewhat shown before you just, like, jump in. You're just like, I literally don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. If you asked me to, well, I mean, I could probably do it. But, like, yeah.
Well, you have nieces and nephews.
Yeah, but I'm not over there, like, giving them baths.
But still, you know, like wipe this way. I mean, obviously, I knew that too.
But I know
because I use the bathroom, like, I'm a human. But, like...
Yeah, but it's also, like...
I was like, what? How do I move him? What do I do? Like, and it was a guy.
Yeah, and even that, too. Because I'm granted, that's like... Because I know for some CNAs, like, especially when, like, you first get hired, you do, like a 2-week training course or something like that to even learn how to move people so you don't hurt yourself. Like, do they at least tell you guys...
Yeah, they teach you how to use, like, a transfer belt and, like, how to transfer somebody from a bed to a wheelchair. Like, they do teach you some skills, but for some reason, the bed bath thing was just completely not in the curriculum.
Okay. Is that much more of a, like, reading it straight out of a book, or is it... Like, with that type of stuff, it's no practice.
Well, so for the first 4 weeks of the first semester, we had lab instead of clinical. So we would go to lab for, I think, like 2 or 3 hours a day. That's the other thing. All the classes are crazy long.
Yeah. I remember we went to open house and I saw they had, like, dolls.
Yeah. They had there's a whole room that had mannequins and
Okay, so at least there's some, like, this is and they're, like, physically, like, they're, like, as big as and, like, as heavy as a person.
They are heavier than any person I have lifted at work ever.
Well, that's good then, at least.
I don't know why. I don't know what they're made
just full of lead.
Yeah, and it was also really nice because, like, with the amount of mannequins that were in that school, which, like, I didn't go to the most updated nursing school, but there's maybe 20, 25. So there was a pregnant woman, like, a bariatric patient, which is, like, a really heavy patient. And, like, you could do a bunch of different things with them. Oh, okay. So, like, you kind of did learn a lot. Okay. But there's just... And a lot of people who go to nursing school are CNAs, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I worked in retail until I, like, had the guts to go to nursing school. So
yeah.
So a lot of people don't need to know how to, like, do a bed bath, but, like, I personally was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, you're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when you got to the clinical and they were like, okay, cool, do a bed bath. Like, did you know... Like, even, like, where the supplies and stuff like that, where you're just like, where do I even get this stuff?
I mean, I think that was...
like, ask around, but, like...
So, like, looking back, I really appreciate the clinical instructor I had first semester because she wanted us to, like... She really just wanted to throw us into it, and I get how bad that was, how bad that felt at first. Mm-hmm. But, like, of course, as a nurse, you're always going to be asking other, like, people who work in the healthcare team that you're involved in, like, where things are, mm-hmm. what they do about this, because, you know, like, everywhere is different and every patient's different, and somebody might be more experienced with the patient than you are. So, like, I think she was trying to facilitate, like, okay, these people are here, they know where everything is, ask them.
Yeah.
So, like, she was just like, go do a bed bath, this is your room number.
Oh. Well, that's
not like this is your patient's diagnosis. Like,
yeah, it's like this is
nothing.
Okay, because it's much more of like on the job. You just show up and it's like, okay, cool. I have these. These are my patients.
Yeah,
got figured out what's going on today. So okay, so with the clinicals, and they ramped up over time. Like they got longer and longer, and like you did more and more work. Because I remember at the end you were doing much more like actual, like you were in the hospital.
Right. So for the way, and again, everything I'm saying is based on the school I went to. I don't know. I can't speak for other schools because I don't know what they're like. But first semester was a nursing home. Second, third, and fourth semester were all in different hospitals. Mm-hmm. So I'm lucky I didn't get any repeats. I liked everywhere I was. Yeah. For the most part, but I'm glad that I got to like experience all different hospitals and all different systems.
Yes.
So that was interesting. But yeah, so first semester you each have, I found out later actually that you were supposed to go in groups of like 2 to have one patient.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. She threw us right into it and we had one patient each. So first semester we had 1 patient, second we had 2, third we had 3, and then fourth technically, I think we had 2 patients, but we were on the whole unit, so we just worked as like a team to take care of the whole floor. Yeah. And there was 8 people in each clinical rotation. Mm-hmm. So the 8 of us had the whole floor.
So so what did the nurses do? Were they happy to see you guys? Mm-hmm. They were like, oh,
I mean, got some help. In certain hospitals, they would be really territorial. Yeah. Certain shifts even. I'm not shitting on any hospital, but like...
It's just people in general.
Yeah. So some people would be like, oh, let me teach you this. This is something I didn't learn in nursing school, and I want to teach it to you so you don't have the same experience. Other people would be like, here's my patient, go ahead. And like, then other ones would just be like, don't touch my patient, don't go in my room, don't. Yeah. And it's like, okay, great.
It's like, great, this is the one. If I have to work here, don't work with them.
Right.
Well, can you tell me about the test once you finish the
NCLEX?
Yes. Like, what is it? Because I don't know if some people don't know. I didn't know. This is big to even get your nursing license.
Yeah. So...
And, like, LPNs have to do something similar or no?
They have an NCLEX as well.
Okay.
The NCLEX PN, and then there's the NCLEX RN.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really know that much about the NCLEX PN. I know it's...
Is this kind unique for New York State? Or is this...
I don't think so, no. Okay. I've honestly never looked.
Look into it? Oh, okay.
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
So for the NCLEX PN, I know their minimum is 85 questions. Mm-hmm. I don't know what their maximum is, but for the NCLEX RN, your minimum is 75 questions and your max is 265. So it's an adaptive test, and it like pays attention to how well you're doing, and if you're doing good, it'll give you a harder question and a harder question and a harder question. So if you do really well, you'll only get 75 questions, and that's like what everybody strives for. But it doesn't, if you didn't get 75 questions, it doesn't mean that like you're any worse of a nurse.
Yeah,
it
what
just
does it
means,
matter? Like, it doesn't... Does it, do you get, like, is it like, oh, you get a recommendation?
No.
So, doesn't matter.
You're just done with your tests
Yeah,
sooner.
just like you pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, like, you should be proud, because I passed in 75, and you should be proud if you passed in 75, because
you're like...
you took the least amount of questions to show that you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But it can go all the way up to 265. You can get 265 and pass. You can get 265 and fail. It just depends. There's a passing line, and the way you answer questions, you either keep going above it or below it. So it all really depends on...
So you can get 265. So you can...
You can be there anywhere from... Yeah, and it can shut off at any time. It's not like 75, 100, 125. Yeah.
Oh, if you just...
Yeah, you can fail really bad. You can pass really well.
Is there like a cutoff on your failing? Like, is there like a quickest way to fail, or there's no like...
I mean, if you've totally bombed it, you'll go at least until 75.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you totally bombed it, the worst you can bomb it is 75.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I didn't know if it was like, oh, if it cuts off at like 100, you're like, I mean, they're probably failed.
No.
Oh, okay. And it's all digital. You're doing it online.
Yeah, you do it on a computer. Right. You have to go to like a testing center.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's super expensive.
When I was asking about it, I was just like, oh. And because I remember when you were telling me it cuts off at 75, I was like, wait, what? And you're like, no, it was like a digital exam. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought it was like standardized,
No, oh my God,
bubble,
Yeah, you're in a little cubicle. I get testing accommodations for college, so I was in like my own room, but so you're in a cubicle. They videotape you. They are audio recording you. Mm-hmm. You have to do that thing. I don't know if any of you have ever taken like a board exam or anything like that, or even there was something I took where I had to do it before, but you have to like put your fingerprint, your hand down on this thing, and they take your handprint, and then they go like, just to make sure when you come in and you leave, you're the same person. If you go to the bathroom, you're the same person.
Yeah, no switcheroos.
Yeah, so it's kind of like very...
I mean, that makes sense.
That part was stressful.
They want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're dealing with people's lives. It's like, if you're a nurse, you better be who you are.
Right. But the NCLEX, you can take as many times as you want. I think there's like a 6-week waiting period in between, but it doesn't matter how many times you take it.
Right.
Like nursing school, you can only fail so many times. It's not like that for the boards.
So then, okay, well, can you talk to me more about your still involvement with like the schooling?
What do you mean?
Like how you're even though you're done with your associates, you're going for your bachelor's, but you still work at the school, like your involvement, because you were like involved with stuff at the school,
right?
And you like did stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of an overachiever in nursing school because I didn't have like the typical college experience, so I wanted to like get literally everything out of nursing school that I could. So I was like president of student association. I was president of the nursing club. After a while, I didn't start in those positions, but I ended in them. I was in like an alumni, like a promise to come back and be an alumni, like club thing. Like I literally did everything I could. I tutored. Yep. Now that I'm gone, I am a facilitator for some of the supplemental education, which is great. I love it. I still tutor once in a while, but I don't really have a lot of time because my supplemental education facilitator job takes up like 20 to 25 hours a week. Yeah. And that's on top of my regular job. Yeah. But yeah, so I just tried to get everything out of it I could.
If you guys hear that, that's just our dog in the other room. I don't know what.
Dramatically laying down.
Yeah, just like laid down. That was really loud. But yeah, so like, and I remember you said you spoke at this orientation.
Oh yeah, I spoke at when I was starting my second year of nursing school. I spoke at their nursing orientation. Yeah. Just like, hey, like, it's gonna be hard, but you can do it if you want it. You can do it.
Yeah, just like anything. Like you just have to work at it.
For sure.
But so like,
yes.
So now that you've done that.
Oh yeah, I'm going to a completely different school for no reason other than cost.
Yeah, cost is the other thing.
It's the school I went to was a private college, so it was kind of expensive. But now I'm going to a different school, and I'm in my BSN program, and it's completely different. No clinicals. It's just writing papers, doing lots of research-based stuff.
You were saying, like, bachelor's program is, for nursing, it's almost like the graduate programs for other type of fields where it's much more of, like, applying the information and, like, doing, like, online work or...
Not so much. It's kind of backwards because usually in most... And from what I know, because obviously I didn't get a prior bachelor's degree in anything, but usually your first 2 years of your bachelor's degree are like the like prereqs and like getting all like the English 101s and English 102s and like not really specializing yet. Where like nursing's backwards, where like you do all the hard at least when you go for a 2-year degree, you do all the hard stuff the first 2 years, and then the next 2 years is like writing papers and doing research.
Yeah, because like right now, mostly it's online, and it's like you said, you were even telling me like a lot of the stuff, like what was it? You said like the one class you have to like reply to like forms and like do research and like citing stuff. It's much
and like
more
a bunch of voiceover PowerPoints about like ethics and technology and healthcare, stuff like that. So nothing really that has anything to do with like. Well, it does have stuff to do with being a nurse, but it's not like the practical skills or like how to keep a patient safe. It's more like this is why we use prophylactic antibiotics, or like this is how you run a hospital. Even though like nurses with their BSN can't run a hospital, but it's like more geared towards that. Or like this is how you research something. And it's kind of like making you always question stuff, like not just do things in your job because it's how it's done. Like think about, is this the safest way things could be done, or should there be further research done? Yeah. It's interesting. It's just like I feel like I'm getting a degree in something completely different.
Yeah. It's much more of like applied the information in like, I don't know, just in a different way. It's much more of like just like an ethic way. So then, okay, now can you tell me more about... New nurse. Becoming a new nurse. What's it like? Like coming out of school, you're just like, I'm getting my first job, bushy-eyed, you know, whatever.
Bushy-eyed, bushy-tailed,
bushy-tailed,
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Whatever, whatever you just said. What exactly is that like?
Honestly, I was talking to one of my previous instructors about this because I saw her when I went to work the other day. Yeah. And she was like, how does it feel? Like, how does it feel to be a new nurse? And I was like, it's insane. You don't even realize what you don't know. You don't even know enough graduating as a nurse to have a handle on all the stuff you don't know. Yeah. Like, it's more that. It's like I didn't even get a degree. Like, when I stop and think about it, and when I have conversations with people who aren't nurses, I'm like, oh, I guess, like, I did learn a lot. Like, I do know a lot, but... Being a new nurse is so much harder than nursing school could ever be. And nursing school is the hardest fucking thing I've ever done. Like, you just... Every single day, you have to just wake up and be like, I'm going to do my best today. I'm going to, like, learn everything I can from everyone that's around me. I'm gonna just suspend my judgment on myself because like every day you're learning things that like you have no idea how to do. Like in New York State, nursing students can't start IVs, which I'm sure like
wait, what was that? Nursing students?
Yeah. Can't start IVs so legally. So you have to learn on the job. And that is not a skill you can just be like, oh, someone showed me, I tried it twice, I'm good. Yeah. So, like, even that, I had to do it. So, I've had 2 nursing jobs since I graduated. I graduated in May 2019, passed my boards in June 2019, got my first job in early July 2019. I was there until October, and then October I started the job I have now. I've been there about 4 months. And my first job, I started some IVs, but not a ton. Right.
Did people do IVs there a lot?
Yeah, for like, because I worked for a cardiology office and we did a cardiac testing in-house, so we would need IVs for different things. And now where I work, we start IVs all day. Oh, okay. So it's definitely like a different pace, and I really enjoy it. I I work with like imaging, mostly imaging and pain management. But I definitely enjoy the imaging that I do. Like it's fun. I work with like MRI techs, CT techs, vascular techs.
Yeah.
They're all great. I've learned so much from them. But it's fun to help out with tests that like can actually really help people, or like people who are super nervous, have never gotten contrast for a test, or like have never even had an IV, some people, and it's like it's nice to be able to walk in, have that confidence and like be able to do that for them.
Yeah.
But it definitely beat me down for like the first month or two, maybe even longer, that I was at my job, because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to walk in here confidently and put a needle in your arm and not know if I'm going to get it or not. Like,
right.
And then it's hard when you miss to like play it off, because I'm like beating myself up, and
like
then I'm
crap.
like, yeah, like somebody today asked me how long I'd been a nurse, and I just didn't answer her. I was in the room with someone else, and they were like, oh, not going to let her answer that question. Let's keep talking about something else. Because it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, less than a year.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I mean, granted, that was after I put her IV in, so it's like, too late.
Yeah, it's like, well, I got you now. Yeah, that is interesting. Do you feel that
Nurses eat their young? Is that what you're going to ask me? Because nurses eat their young.
What do you mean?
So there's like the saying that like nurses eat their young, like new nurses.
Heard that.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard like they eat new nurses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
They absolutely
they eat their young. What?
Bully the shit out of new nurses.
Oh yeah, everyone.
I don't understand why the profession is that way, but that's how it is. That will happen if you're somebody who's watching and like wants to know what it's like to be a new nurse. Like, you will be bullied, but you will get through it. It'll make you a better nurse, and you'll be okay. Like, it's a totally broken system. It shouldn't happen in the first place, but that's the other thing. While you're learning all this new stuff you've never done before, you have to like endure like people being rude about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, because you came out the womb a nurse. Okay.
Yeah. Which I feel like people they forget where they started from.
Right.
That's.
I swear I will never be like that. I'll be like, you want to learn?
That, you know, I'm gonna
bet. I'll be like, you want to learn something? Sure, I'll teach you. Because how else are you gonna learn?
10 years from now, when you come home, you're gonna. Be
I want to be a clinical instructor.
Oh, well, that'd be good.
So I can do that.
Yeah, well, you know what? That'll be really good. But 10 years from now, I'm gonna remind her when she comes home. She's gonna be like,
you're gonna be like, watch this video.
No,
you're an asshole.
She's gonna be like, man, I can't believe this new kid came in. They didn't know how to. I don't know, do something.
No, I don't think so.
I'm like, remember what you said? Okay. Okay, well, tell me though. Going back to nursing school though.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing? You could say like, what was the number one hardest thing? Was the hours, the testing, what was you think like the hardest thing you had to do in nursing school?
The material is really hard to learn. You learn, especially in a 2-year program, you learn everything so fast.
Yeah.
We had a test every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I guess
hard test.
So hard. 50 questions, maybe 40.
How many classes do you take a semester?
It depends. It changed for me. Well, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
For me, it was 50 questions. Some of them were like alternate format, like select all that apply, or order the steps, or stuff like that. So it's not like you can like work your way through a case study and like write down all the information and like get partial credit.
Yeah.
So it was just like really high stakes. Like every question's worth 2 points.
Yeah.
You can only miss
a couple.
7.
Yeah. To pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very much.
It's a lot. And your only grades. You don't get homework grades.
Yeah.
They're your tests, and that's it.
Yep.
That's
it.
There's
There's like no extra credit or anything.
No.
It's just like, well, so it's like every single class, you gotta be there.
Yeah.
You gotta learn the stuff. Do you feel like the teachers taught you, or was it much more of like, this is the material, read this book, memorize this, or was it like hands-on, like, this is what you're gonna need to know. You need to know this or this or this.
I think it kind of depended on the teacher. I'm not gonna say I had really bad teachers, because I didn't. I, like I said, I have a learning disability. I get like testing accommodations. So part of it was probably me having a learning disability, but part of it might have been that I didn't vibe with some of the teachers' teaching styles, which everyone's different. But it is a lot of like, this is the material and you have to take it from seeing it in this book to applying it. I can't teach you that.
Yeah.
But it is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not true because I do teach people to do that.
Yeah.
But that
certain things you can't.
I also have 2 hours with them outside of their 3-hour lecture already.
Yeah.
So you can't do it in the amount of time that the teachers are given.
Yeah.
So they do their best with the time they have.
Right.
But like I said, a 2-year program, the material comes at you so fast. It's like between, I think first semester was like 2 to 4 chapters a test. By like third and fourth semester, it was sometimes 8, 9, 10 chapters a test. Like it's a lot of material for 50 questions. So that's 5 questions a chapter if you have like 10 chapters on your test. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not like...
Just you saying 10 chapters.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
It's not like, here's the big ideas. Like, something could be like this tiny little paragraph you didn't read.
Like, legitimately, you have all of your nursing books and stuff like that.
I do.
I mean, literally, I'm like using her books as a prop for just some of them. It's insane the amount of material that you had to literally read.
Yeah.
Because for me, I didn't go to school for nursing. I went for computer information systems. And I would say I don't really know if that's a product of like college in general, how like teachers, they're much more of like, this is the material. You have to kind of learn it.
Yeah.
I don't really know for different majors and stuff like that. I don't know. But for me, it was kind of like that too. It was much more of like, this is what you got to know.
Well, yeah, because it's the same kind of thing where they're teaching you how to, I don't want to say it like they're teaching you how to actually do something. But you're getting taught a skill you need.
Yeah, this is like a skill, but you have to actually do it. Figure it out.
And like I feel like there's like quite a bit of critical thinking with all that too, because like, okay, this is gonna sound super fucking stupid because I don't know what I'm saying, but it's like, so this crashed this way. Where do I look? First.
Yeah, same. Yeah, logic. Just like this.
You can't just go like, A to B to C to D. Yeah. Sometimes it's like D to A to F to. I have no idea.
Yeah, versus something like a much more of a, I don't know, not like a. I'm trying to think of another major don't want to say art, or something else, or even like photography, like even that, because I was minoring in that as well. Like that was much different. It was much more of like hands-on, because we did like the actual, like the dark room. It was much more hands-on stuff.
I did that in high school, like film photography. It was sick.
I know. I wish I should have just kept. I was literally about to get the minor, but I needed like 2 more classes, but I just wanted to finish.
Oh, that's what you asked me, how many classes I took.
Yes.
So I am like a crazy planner. So I looked, when I figured out what nursing school I could get into, those 4 classes that I had to take to reset my GPA, made sure there were 4 classes I needed for the nursing program. So I did they were like the prerequisites, or like the general educations, like microbiology.
Yeah.
Philosophy, stuff like that, like stuff that was in the program but wasn't a core nursing class that I could transfer in.
Right.
So I took those 4, and then I like in the summers and stuff before, I kind of forgot in what order I did it all, but like I made sure everything that wasn't a core nursing class I finished before I got into the program.
Yeah.
Because they grade you just as hard. You need a 75, plus you need to balance it with your nursing course load, and I don't know if I would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
I graduated nursing school with, I want to say like a 3.73, I think, which is like way better than I thought I would, but I don't think I could have if I was taking the entire program by itself, which a lot of people do because they're right out of high school.
Right.
Or they just are coming from a different degree. So, like, things, they don't transfer, really.
Yeah.
So, just with my core nursing classes, I had 4 classes first semester, 3 classes second semester, 2 classes third, and 2 classes fourth. So... But those classes, like, especially in 3rd and 4th semester, they were, like, 6 credits and 2 credits, or, like, 5 credits and 3 credits. Like, they weren't, like, 2 3-credit classes.
Yeah. They were big classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucked for financial aid reasons because I was part-time, but I wouldn't have gotten through if I took the whole degree by itself.
Yeah. Because I remember, but even before, because you were taking, like, the math class somewhere else, and, like, yeah, you were doing, like, a lot of stuff just to, like, make sure everything, like, lined up. Granted, because you want to go to grad school, so you want to make sure your GPA stays as high as it possibly can.
Yeah. But I still, I did... Even for my bachelor's program, I think I needed an art class, a history class, and I had to take stats because it's like a prereq for every BSN program ever. So I did those like the summer before because I wanted to do the same thing. Like, let me only take what I need to take so I can get high grades so I can get into grad school. So the grad school I want to get into is for a DNP program, a doctorate of nursing practice.
Yeah.
At the school I'm at now, and you need like a 3.5 to just get in early acceptance without taking any standardized testing or anything like that. So like that's what I'm aiming for, and if I don't get it,
that'd be nice. So you don't have to take any type of testing to get in.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay, that's the baseline.
And if I don't get it, I have to take the MAT.
Yeah.
But I don't want something else to study for, so I don't want to.
Do you think that would be like? You would have to specifically
study for it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's but I've heard that it's a test all like about analogies, which I don't know because I've never looked at like any of the like review stuff or anything like that because it's a little too early. If I have to take it, I'll have to take it this December. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Yeah, because I'll be graduating the semester after. I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree.
I know, that's so crazy. Time is flying by. I know. I don't know why when you just said that, I was like, oh yeah, that is right.
Yeah, this semester is the end of my first year.
Yeah. This semester coming up.
This semester I'm in now.
Yeah. Oh, so in another year you'll be done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
That's
the other thing.
That's so crazy.
I took a bachelor's program that's 2 years.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years because I don't have a prior bachelor's degree. That's just their policy. But it was so much cheaper. Mm-hmm. Like, I started paying my school loans off this past November. I'll be done in August. I was $33,000 in debt. So, like, I'm down with cheap. Like, I'm down. Especially if I want to go to grad school. There's no financial aid for grad school. Yeah. So.
And that's, like, the best advice, too. Like, if you can, to pay out of pocket.
Yeah, like, I'll take the extra year.
Yeah.
Because it's 12 months. I can work way more, make more money.
Yeah.
Focus on my grades and make sure they're where I need them to be. So it just made sense for me.
Yeah. You know, if you can.
I'm not worried about 12 months.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if I'm going for another degree. Like, obviously, I'm still investing some time. It's not like I'm 12 months from being done.
How long is the master, how long is the grad program?
It's 3 years full-time, 5 years part-time, but...
Jesus. 5 years part-time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go full-time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's, like, a couple different things with that, too. Like, if you get loan forgiveness if you're, like, a TA...
I remember saying that.
Yeah.
So you want to, so there's a lot of...
For the last 2 years.
It's just the last 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
But the first year you have to pay?
Yeah, and it's $6,000 a semester. Is also what I've heard. This is all speculation.
Yeah. There's just a lot.
But I'm just working on it. I'm trying to plug along. I feel like I've already done... I'm not going to say the hardest part, because I'm sure grad school is harder than nursing school, but I've done a large portion of the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm almost done with the boring stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll get there. It's fine.
So...
I'll graduate when I'm 31.
If you can...
I just turned 27 on Monday.
Wait. Yeah, that is right. Happy birthday once again.
Thanks.
We're getting old. Well, we're not getting... Well...
I know, I did homework the whole day. Like,
yeah, I know.
How poetic.
We both took off for your birthday.
I did homework all day.
Homework. It was a nice day, though.
It was a nice day.
It was a nice time for us to just spend time.
I know, I literally laid on the couch and hardly moved.
Yeah, we just...
I wanted to get up and clean. I wanted to get up and do stuff. I was like, no, it's your birthday. lay down and relax.
Yeah, we spent time just kind of relaxing together, which was like really, really nice.
Yeah, we don't get to do that often.
Yeah.
We both have a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm just thinking in my head, even like editing this is it's not gonna take that long. It might be.
But that's the other thing too about money. Like, nursing school might be expensive, and you might be in like a situation like me where a private school is kind of your only option based on what you were given. I could have gone to cheaper schools, but I would have had to wait 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And knowing that I wanted to go to grad school, I was like, yeah, no, I'd rather pay a little bit more now, because like your earning potential as a nurse, I'm making like at least 3 times more than I've ever made in my entire life. And I was in retail management, which paid surprisingly well for what it was.
Yeah.
And like, you can pay off your loans. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing it in 10 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so
you can do it.
If you don't,
it's not comfortable.
Yeah,
but
like don't live beyond your means. Like you just like, you know what I mean? Like you just feel like, okay,
I was like, fuck it. I was poor for two to 3 years before this. I can be poor for another 10 months and never have to worry about my loans again.
Yeah, just like
that way I can pay for grad school out of pocket and not do this again.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is to kind of get through everything and like have everything paid. But tell me though, so if you're in like high school, like senior or whatever.
Oh, don't go straight out of high school.
And they're just like, okay,
but a friend of mine that graduated with me did go straight out of high school.
Yeah.
And she's doing great, so don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
I know. Can I tell you, I just did a video on my other channel talking about that. Don't listen to other people. I mean, listen to some people, but honestly, take every advice with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because everyone has different experiences and stuff like that.
Right.
But, no, yeah, I know what you mean, though. But you think it would be...
It's a lot.
It's hard going out of high school. Like, what would you suggest someone do?
I don't even know if there's any way to prepare yourself for it, because, like, I was super smart in high school, not so much with math. But other than that, like, I never ever studied for anything. Even in college prior to nursing school, I never studied for anything. And you really got to buckle down and learn how to study, because you are not going to get through it without reading a ton, doing thousands of practice questions.
Yeah, well, can I just say, even like when you used to have me like read you the like practice questions, I was just thinking to myself, like,
what the hell?
I would literally not know what any of this is.
Yeah.
It's like... Yeah,
but you learn it so fast that you
like,
don't even like stop to appreciate how much you've learned. Like, I'd be like, I feel like I haven't learned anything, and then I'll have a conversation with someone and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know, like half the time you're just like yeah, that's whatever. I'm just like,
yeah,
no idea what that. Yeah, because even like for me, like I like during high school I didn't like really I never, which is I think a lot of people are like that. Like legitimately, like I feel like in like America it's like people don't get serious until they get into college.
Yeah.
It's like, because like all through high school and stuff like that, you're just like, yeah, I never studied. I just kind of just showed up and just did what I did. And if you did well, you did well. But it's like, for this, it's much more of like, no, you have to study.
Yeah, I did the math when I graduated. On average, and this is like a very like rough average throughout my 4 semesters, I studied about 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I believe it, because like legitimately
full disclosure, I didn't work. Jeff took care of everything, and that was seriously
it's hard.
The biggest blessing. Like all I did was study. It was a literal full-time job for me.
Yes. Because
I got through it. I got a 3.7. I didn't fail any semesters, which is kind of a rarity.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, so if you're like,
it's a full-time job. I'm not going to say you can't do it if you have kids or if you're working full-time. Like, if you want it, you will do it. But it's a lot more work than regular college.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Because it's just a lot you have to do and learn. Because, I remember there was nights, like, I would go to sleep and be like, all right, I'm going to sleep. I got to work tomorrow morning. Wake up, you're just like still doing homework.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, she pulled on like all-nighters.
Yeah, and you have homework. It's not like because you don't get credit for homework, you have homework still.
Yeah.
You have things you have to hand in, or you can't go to clinical, or you have things that you have to come in for and sit for, or you can't go back to class. Like, just because it doesn't hold a point value doesn't mean you don't have things to do outside of class besides study.
Yeah. And, like, that, I mean, yeah, I remember, like, the first couple times I've seen you do that, I was just like, oh my God, like, this is, like, you know how you see people in, like, movies and stuff like that?
Like a montage of them just on the floor with
like,
books.
studying,
that was me for
like,
2 years.
Legitimately. And, like, that was the first time, I mean, I was just like, holy crap, she's, like, really doing that.
Yeah.
I was just like,
even when I was in stats, like, literally, you would go to sleep, and I would wake up, and you'd be like, did you go to sleep? I'd be like, no, I've been doing my homework for hours.
Yeah.
Stats was hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. But, I mean, I got an A in it.
Yeah.
But...
It was a well
oh, my
thing.
God.
So I remember because I was, like, trying to help you, too, but, like, I was just like,
because just like anatomy and physiology was factored into getting into nursing school. Yeah. That stats grade was factored into getting into my BSN program. So like I had to make sure I did well. Yeah.
But that's so that's the thing though. I would say though, like, so if you are coming out of high school, if you can, like, you know, like, just
make sure you're ready. Like, honestly, sit down with yourself and be like, am I willing to do this for this many hours? Because it is not something you can half-ass. Even people who didn't half-ass it failed. People who wanted it more than anything failed. Like,
I remember telling me.
It's gonna... And I tell this because I'm teaching part of first semester right now. And I tell everybody this all the time. Like, you gotta want this more than anything. It's gonna be the most uncomfortable 2 years of your life. But it's gonna be so incredibly worth it if it's what you want.
Yeah.
But you really have to put this before everything. And if you can't, you need a plan.
Yeah. I mean,
because I hate people who...
very stressful.
I hate people who are like, oh, you can't go to nursing school, you have kids. Like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
So many of my friends with kids made it through. Yeah. Some even made it through without fails. And it's like, who am I to tell you what you can and can't do? But just make sure it's what you want and you're willing to put the time in.
Yeah, because it's very unique. It's a very unique program. It's like... it's when you think about it, it's literally like you're helping keep people alive.
Yeah,
like
literally.
Besides for like the doctor, it's like you guys are like helping keep people alive.
But so this is probably gonna be really like controversial or whatever, but
we're just going there.
My teacher was talking to me and she's like, "Do you realize that like you have to learn everything a doctor knows and make sure that they don't overlook everything, like things with Medicaid, like obviously there are different things, there are different kinds of med interactions we have to know that too." So she was pretty much just saying that there's like a lot of stuff you're always not second guessing, but double checking the doctor to make sure they ordered the right thing, the patient is allergic to this isn't contraindicated for any reason, because even though you're not the one to order it, you're not the ordering like provider, if you administer that medication and the patient was allergic to it or it was the wrong dosage that was written down that you were just following orders, you are the one who gets in trouble, not the doctor. So like you have to know everything they know, and by everything I don't mean everything, obviously, but you need to know their job well enough to catch them if they make a mistake.
Yes. It's like if something happens, it comes back on you still.
Yeah.
Because you're like the one. It's like the doctors are like the ones who are like giving out the orders and like that type of like the super high up. But you guys are the ones that are actually like implementing it in a way.
And there's like a whole format of communication. It's called SBAR, it's Situation, Background, Assessment, and Recommendations. And that's kind of how you talk to doctors when you're in the hospital. You give them all of those things, and including your recommendations, because you can recommend things to a doctor and they take you seriously. Like, I did not realize how much nurses did until I became a nurse.
Yeah.
Or at least until I went to nursing school. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, like, I like it a lot more than I thought I would, because I always wanted to be a provider, and I got a lot closer with this degree than I thought.
Yeah. Which is, I mean...
And I'm still going to go to school so I can be a provider, but...
Right.
I had no idea all the stuff that we could do. Like, there are certain things... Like, I'm ACLS certified, which is Advanced Cardiac Life Support. There are medications I can give without orders. There are things I can do to a patient who's in cardiac arrest without orders because I'm certified, but I had no idea nurses had as much autonomy as they do.
Yeah. remember you were saying like LPNs is much more of they can't. What is it? They can't.
LPNs in New York State can't assess.
Right. That's what it was.
So like, that's pretty much.
They have to get whatever they're like told.
Yeah, like they can, and not to say that LPNs are less than or anything like that, because I don't subscribe to that bullshit. Yeah. But like, they can give medications. You can't hang blood products. You can't give certain medications. You can't give something for the first time, I think. Yeah. Just in case there's like an allergic reaction or something. But they do almost everything we do. Mm.
But.
Yes. In
closing, to try to wrap things up here. So if you can give one good sound piece of advice to
I thought you were just going to say one good sound. I was like, I can burp. I'm sorry, what?
To someone.
To throw you off a little. I'm sorry.
To someone who's new to nursing, like wants to be a nurse, what advice would you give them? Like, what would you tell them?
Call me, I'll tutor you. But no, really though. But I would just say, kind of just make sure it's what you want. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're in it 100%. Yeah. Like, make sure you find some friends while you're there, because it's easier to learn things as a group. Yeah. Stay focused. Yeah. Talk to your family and friends and be like, listen, I love you. I'm not going to be around as much. Yeah. I'll see you in 2 years. Peace out. Like,
yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. I didn't see 99% of my friends while I was in nursing school. Yeah. And you will make lifelong friends in nursing school. I have a couple.
Battle together.
Yeah. It's literally, and no, it's not literally like being in the military, but it is kind of like you go through this crazy, incredibly stressful 2-year experience that nobody understands unless they've been there. Yeah. So it is a little bit like that. It's not as serious. It's not obviously not dangerous like that, but it's this weird like shared experience that is very foreign to people who aren't nurses. Yeah. So like you will make lifelong friends, and sometimes you just got to call your friends and be like, I failed. I hate my life. Yeah. You just got to let it out and be there for each other. Yeah. And then get back to studying, because
you have a next test.
Yeah, like, come on, your next test is in like a week. Yeah. So. Well, I'm stressed. This stressed me out.
Well, this was a lot. I'm sure we're going to be doing more topics. Yeah. On nursing, just in general. Just
if you guys want.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to do more topics.
Put them in the comments.
Yeah, but drop them down below.
We want to do a Q&A. Give us questions.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're still trying to do a Q&A. Yeah. So we will definitely be doing that. We will be doing more topics about nursing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and did you guys like this angle?
Yeah,
it's very double chin.
I do like this angle. Do I look?
Okay,
weird?
That's enough.
All right.
It's time to go.
That's enough. Well, so this has been episode number 3.
Yeah, dude.
Of the moderately interesting podcast. See, I got it this time. My name is Geoffrey. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, pretty much everywhere. OmegaGreed. And we can find you.
Everywhere is Panda Cow with 2 W's.
Yes.
All lowercase. That doesn't really matter though.
It's on the screen. You guys know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. We are out. We will be back next week. Oh yeah, and also really quickly, if you guys are wondering, throughout the week, we also have small breakouts of the podcast that go up on the channel as well.
Yeah, so the juicy bits.
Yes. So if you see that, that's just what that is, smaller breakouts. But yeah, it's been fun. We will see you guys in the next video. So goodbye.